This painting hides a detail in plain sight that most people don't even notice at first. It does, however, confirm that this painting is not what it initially seems to be. The man weighs coins while his wife flips through a book beside him. It seems ordinary, even mundane, but when we look closer, we see something strange. A man in a mirror. Why is he there? Haven't we seen something like this before? And what does this reflection mean for this particular painting? This work is titled The Moneylender and His Wife, and it was created in 1514 by Quintin Matsys, a Flemish painter with a remarkable story. So what exactly is happening here? In this video, you'll find out why this little detail might turn this painting into one of the most brilliant artworks of the Northern Renaissance. Before I dive into the painting's details, let's start with Quintin Matsys himself. If true, the story of how he became a painter is quite fascinating. He was born around 1466 in Leuven, in what is now Belgium. According to legend, he started his career as a blacksmith. His career path radically changed when he fell in love with a painter's daughter. Her father refused to let her marry anyone outside the art world, so Matsys taught himself to paint. Another source, however, claimed that he became ill and was unable to continue his hard labor, so he started painting instead. Whether or not the romantic version of his story is true, we know that by 1491 he had joined the Guild of St. Luke in Antwerp as a master painter. Antwerp was the commercial heart of Northern Europe at the time, and money was everywhere. Bankers, merchants, and money changers filled the streets, and Matsys had a front row seat to observe them. That's why we can be pretty sure that this is an accurate view of how a moneylender's office looked like in the early 1500s. He became known for his detailed portraits and his sharp moral commentary, often hidden beneath the surface of seemingly innocent scenes. The money changer and his wife is perhaps the finest example of this, as it hides a clever moral lesson. On the left sits a man dressed in a robe with a fur-lined collar. These weren't the clothes of the nobility, but of a prosperous merchant. He is carefully weighing gold coins on a small balanced scale, completely absorbed in his task. His wife sits beside him, her hand resting on the page of an open book. But here's the first thing worth noticing. She isn't looking at the book. Her gaze has drifted away from the pages and toward her husband's coins. This subtle detail will become important for understanding this painting. The book in front of her is not just any book. If you look closely, you can see an illuminated image of the Virgin Mary and Child. This is a book of hours, a personal prayer book that wealthy people used for daily devotion during the late Middle Ages. The wife should be praying, but instead, her attention has drifted to something else entirely. It's clear that Matsys wanted us to notice this. The composition itself tells the story. The painting is divided almost exactly in half. On one side, we have the world of material wealth, coins, the scale, the pearls, and the ledger. On the other side, we have the world of spiritual value, the prayer book, the religious image, and a candle. The wife sits directly in the middle, as if she's caught between these two worlds. The scales her husband uses are perfectly balanced, which might suggest fairness in his business dealings. Part of a money changer's job was to detect coins that had been clipped, a common problem during this period. Especially in a busy city full of merchants. It's believed that the people in the doorway at the back are a reflection of this. Next to the scales, we see pearls and gold rings. Pearls were enormously expensive in the 16th century, and their presence here emphasizes the couple's wealth. But pearls also carried symbolic meaning. In Christian iconography, they often represented the soul or the kingdom of heaven. Here they lie carelessly on a table, mixed in with the coins, as if spiritual treasures have been reduced to mere commodities. Behind the couple, there are two interesting items, a small glass carafe filled with water and a candle. This is where things get increasingly interesting. In Flemish painting, a burning candle typically symbolized the presence of God. An extinguished candle, on the other hand, suggested the absence of the divine. The fact that this candle appears to have gone out while the couple counts their money is no accident. Matsys is telling us that their pursuit of wealth has snuffed out their spiritual life. The glass carafe is also significant. Some scholars interpret it as a symbol of purity, but here it clearly sits overlooked. Everything in this painting points to the same conclusion. Material concerns have overtaken spiritual ones. But we haven't discussed the most brilliant detail yet. On the right side of the table, in front of the wife, there is a small convex mirror. This type of mirror had been used before in Flemish painting. Jan van Eyck famously used one in the Arnolfini portrait. But while Van Eyck's mirror reflected the domestic scene, this one shows something far more revealing. Look closely at the reflection. You can see a window through which light enters the room, and sitting in front of that window is a man. He is reading a book, likely a devotional text or a Bible, the very thing the wife has turned away from. And here's the most fascinating element of this painting. This man is almost certainly Quintin Matsys himself. The artist has painted himself into the scene as a silent observer, a witness to the moral failure unfolding before him. While the wife abandons her prayer book to gaze at gold coins, Matsys continues reading. The contrast could not be greater. He sits by the window, connected to the outside world, while the couple remains enclosed in their dim room. And here's where this detail becomes even more significant. Through the window in the mirror's reflection, you can see something in the distance, a religious building. Many art historians believe this is the Cathedral of Our Lady in Antwerp, the city where Matsys lived and worked. By including it in the reflection, the painter created a powerful contrast. His self-portrait is the conscience of the painting. It shows us what the wife should be doing, but what she has abandoned. Now, you might wonder whether Matsys was simply condemning money changers as sinful people. The look on his face might suggest the answer, but it's actually more complicated than that. At the bottom of the painting, there was originally an inscription that has since been lost, but that was recorded in old documents. It read, "Let the balance be just and the weights equal." This was a reference to a biblical passage about honest business practices. So Matsys wasn't saying that handling money was inherently evil. He was warning about what happens when the pursuit of wealth becomes an obsession. The problem isn't the money. The problem is the distraction, the slow drift away from what matters. This interpretation is reinforced by other items on the shelf behind the couple. On it, we can see various objects, including an orange and what appears to be another book. The orange was a symbol of original sin in Flemish art, a reminder of human weakness and temptation. Its presence here suggests that the couple is succumbing to a form of temptation as old as humanity itself. What makes this painting, in my opinion, so remarkable is how Matsys balanced criticism with empathy. He doesn't portray the money changer as a villain or his wife as a fallen woman. They look like ordinary people, perhaps even sympathetic ones, simply going about their day. And that's precisely the reason why I find this painting so powerful. Matsys isn't pointing fingers at obvious sinners. He's holding up a mirror, quite literally, to everyone who has ever let worldly concerns distract them. This painting was enormously influential in its time. It inspired a whole genre of similar works, including a painting by Marinus van Reimerswale and other Flemish painters who explored the moral compass of merchants. Some of these later versions are more satirical, depicting money changers as obviously greedy figures. Today, the original version of the money changer and his wife hangs in the Louvre Museum in Paris. It's displayed among other Northern Renaissance masterpieces, though it doesn't always receive the attention it deserves. Most visitors rush past it on their way to the Mona Lisa, which is somewhat ironic when you think about it. It's a rather small work, but I'm sure you'll notice the fascinating detail that transforms this seemingly unremarkable painting into an absolute masterpiece. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications for more similar videos.